Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I know that many of you want to get to your families, and I beg your indulgence to just reflect on a few thoughts that I have with respect to this bill. I showed up today with pretty deep sorrow and a heavy heart after the debate of last night. And I tried this morning as I got up to process it and reflect on those emotions. And I wanted to just make a few observations that I'm feeling very deeply. And I know as I meet with many of you who are not in favor of the bill are also shared. So I want to give voice to some of those feelings. As many of you know, my parents came to this country as immigrants in the mid-50s. My late father, had a 7th grade education. He didn't have the benefit of an extensive education because he needed to work. My mother, who emigrated from Mexico, not only graduated from a public high school in America, but then became a 1st grade public school teacher and helped decades of immigrant kids learn English and thrive in America. I attended public schools from kindergarten to high school and began my elected public service as a trustee in the Dallas Independent School District. I'm incredibly proud that my daughters are both Dallas ISD graduates. So for my family, I see public schools as really the essential cornerstone of that infrastructure of opportunity that took our family from sheep herders and goat herders in just one generation and turned us into elected public servants, business owners, and lawyers, both my sister and I. And I'm incredibly patriotic and grateful to America for having set up that infrastructure of opportunity that allowed my mom, as an immigrant from Mexico, to graduate from high school here, that allowed me and invested in me as the son of immigrants to be able to graduate from high school. And I owe the responsibility that I feel in public service really to my mother's work as a public school teacher. And I want to elevate our public school teachers as part of this discussion because they're the real public servants. They do the hard work on a regular basis. All of you who have taught school in this body, I tip my hat to you. I honor you. I elevate you. The second thing I'm sorrowful about is that after being elected in 2005, when we narrowly defeated that session's version of a voucher scheme, we had held together a strong bipartisan consensus in this body that elevated public schools and that rejected the very real threat posed by the direct government subsidy of unaccountable private education. That died last night, and I'm sad about that, because that bipartisan consensus had held a long time and served to buttress our public schools against bills like this. I'm also sad about the institution, candidly, because this bill came to us and will pass because of a very serious problem we have in terms of basic separation of powers in this state. This bill is the result of an executive who has flexed financial and political muscle and a House that has been unable to hold the executive accountable in checks and balances. And I fear that that imbalance of the legislative and the executive will only get worse. So members, I know some of these words may rub a few of you the wrong way, but we sat here and many of us were ground into a pulp last night as we tried to stand in the breach and fight for our public schools. I appreciate you, those of you who are listening, today and who are offering me these few minutes to address you, because I think something really important has been lost in this state. And for those of you who feel it with me, I wanted to give voice to this very sad moment for many of us. So, Mr. Speaker and members, thank you for the use of the hall and for your time this morning. I hope that God blesses all of you and that you enjoy a Good Friday and a happy Easter.